Who wants to question? Yes, sir.
On the subject of Jay stock, if there was just one thing that you could make Larry from Etobicoke understand, what would that one thing be?
It's a really good question. If you didn't hear it, he said, if there's one thing I could make Larry from Etobicoke understand, what would that one thing be? Maybe that they want to win as much as you want them to win. Maybe that they're trying their best, and that there's a whole other team out there with really, really good players who are paid a lot of money to try to make sure that they don't. I think that the people get really caught up in their stake in the team, and it's wonderful that fans have a stake in the team and an emotional stake and a financial stake too. I mean, look at all the Jays caps and stuff here. But I honestly don't believe that there's a single fan who wants the Blue Jays to win more than any one of those 25 guys in uniform that day. Now they get traded; it's a whole other story. But they are really, really invested in the team's success, whether it feels like it or not. Yes, sir.
Who has been your favorite? Who is or has been your favorite non-Blue Jay to watch play?
To watch play, wow.
That's this guy who you were starting to see.
Nolan Ryan was pretty awesome to watch because he could throw a no-hitter any game and strike out 20 people. He's someone who I would pay to watch pitch. Now, who do I get really excited about? I don't know. Maybe Mike Trout. I haven't seen enough of him. I'd like to see more, and it's too bad that they only play them 6 or 7 times a year, and I only get to see the home games back now that this year that I'm not traveling again. But he's extraordinarily exciting at the plate, in the field, on the bases. I would say it's probably him. Yes, sir.
I want your take on this, because we kind of talked about it at the last one, but being the only team in Canada, your thoughts on everything from signing prospects to recruiting free agents to how does that factor in?
I think it factors in a bit for the American guys. I think that, I remember Greg Zahn saying when he was a player that Canada's just like the U.S., except that everything is a little different. And it's true. Everything is a little different, from the people to the fact that our Fruity Pebbles are made of corn and theirs are made of rice, and those sorts of things. Smarties, right? Smarties do not exist in the United States. And I think a lot of the Americans are a little scared, a little reluctant. Anyone who tries to make you believe going through customs is a pain in the ass, going through customs is a pain in the ass for us. It's not a pain in the ass for professional athletes, ever. So that's nothing. But I think that they could be a little reluctant, especially the ones who aren't really familiar with the city, because once anybody's familiar with this city, they fall in love with it. The Latin guys, no issue at all. They're going to a foreign country anyway, right? So what do they care? And we're probably a little more open and a little more multicultural. Draft picks, I don't think has to do with anything. I think that they're thrilled to be drafted. They want the money they want, and if you give them the money they want, then they'll sign. But I think it has more to do with the 20 years of wandering in the wilderness than with Canada. We had no problem, right, in the early 90s. Jack Morris, Dave Stewart, Paul Molitor, Dave Winfield, all these guys were dying to come here. So I think winning is more important, but I think there's something very small to it. Has to more for basketball players, I think. They don't get ESPN here. They don't like that either. Sorry, Dan. Yes. By the way, I just have to. Yeah.
I think this is going to be the last question for this period.
I was going to say, there are a lot of women here. I don't get any women calling me on this program. They don't ask questions either, it seems like, when we're at a forum like this. So that's too bad. I would like that to happen more on the radio show, because I know you're out there listening. Go ahead.
One of the reasons for the Jays' success in the 80s to the 90s was this real investment in the Latin American system. They moved away from that in the 90s. in early 2000s. Do you see them going back into that? What's some of the evidence of that?
Well, there's a cap now, right? So there's only so much you can spend on international signings, so you can't just go down in there and build your academy and sign everybody. They missed the boat for a long time. A lot of it had to do with Interbrew and the hands-off ownership, and they weren't interested in doing anything but maintaining whatever. And I think Gord Ash too. I don't know how much of it was Gord, how much of it was Beeston, how much of it was who, but the Blue Jays seemed to be under this impression from like 1994 to 2001 that they were one player away, that they were one deal away, that they didn't have to, you know, and Interbrew was fine with that. Sure, go trade for Orlando Merced and Carlos Garcia. Those guys will get us over the top. So I think that they would like to reinvest more, and they'll trade for international signing space and stuff like that. You can only do so much of that. But now you're unfortunately on a really level playing field with everybody else with only so much money to spend. But yesterday, top 5 hitters in the order were from the Dominican. So there you go too.